My sister joked about me at her baby shower, the one I paid $3,700 for. You look like a clown. Your voice? Like a chihuahua, she said in Spanish, thinking I understood nothing. I smiled, then turned to her guests and replied to every word in Spanish, French, and Italian. I stepped outside, made one call, and said four words. My name is Nico. I'm 28. I'm the older child, the default translator, and the person everyone calls when the Wi-Fi blinks. I rent a warm, slightly crooked one-bedroom over a bakery. I work days at a logistics company, and at night I teach beginner Spanish, French, and Italian online to people who say, I've always wanted to learn, and then forget their homework. I'm not rich. I'm reliable. In my family, those two facts collide. If you ask my mother who I am, she says, Nicholas is smart, he helps, the way you talk about a sturdy chair. If you ask about my sister, Camila, she lights up. Mi princesa, so beautiful, so funny. Camila is 25, golden on camera and louder in person. She floats through rooms like a parade. I'm the guy holding the rope. I learned languages because I liked how rules could be kind if you practiced. Verbs didn't raise their voice. Prepositions never called me too sensitive. When I was 16, I taught myself basic French from a library book and felt a little door open in my head. Italian followed. Spanish came from home, then grew a skeleton in college. Words turned into side gigs turned into bills paid on time. Everyone admired the result. No one respected the boundary where that result ends and I begin. The week before my sister's baby shower, the one I arranged, booked, and paid for, I fell asleep at my kitchen table, forehead on a budget sheet. Venue, $1,800. Catering, $1,250. Decor and balloons, $290. DJ, $210. Miscellaneous, $150. Total, $3,700. I wrote the numbers twice because repetition calms me. My mother's text hovered above everything like a sticky note. We'll pay you back little by little, Mijo. In our family, that sentence is a lullaby for the naive. I still wanted to believe it. The morning of the shower, I got to the hall early. I straightened table runners. I checked power strips. I taped down cords so no one would trip and sue a woman who shares inspirational quotes about gratitude but forgets to answer emails. I wore a clean black shirt and the kind of shoes you can run in. I looked like staff. That was the point. At noon, the room filled. Camila arrived in a white dress like a sugar sculpture, one hand on her belly and the other on her phone. People clapped. I stood behind the dessert table cutting cupcakes, pretending to be air. The DJ asked for the Wi-Fi code. The caterer asked about refill timing. I answered both. Then I heard it. Look at Nico, Camila said in Spanish, casual and mean. Parece un payaso con esa camisa barata. Yesa vos. Como un chihuahua cuando intenta sonar elegante. He looks like a clown in that cheap shirt. And his voice? Like a chihuahua when he tries to sound fancy. Her friend smirked. My aunt smiled the soft, nasty smile she uses when she wants points without witnesses. For a second I told myself I misheard. I teach Spanish. I don't mishear Spanish. I also teach French and Italian, the languages that got me the side gigs that paid for this party. It landed anyway. My chest burned, then cooled. I set the knife down. I walked over with a stack of napkins like a waiter. I smiled. In Spanish, calm and even, I said, entiendo to do. Incluyendo cuando la gente confunde generosidad con servidumbre. I understand everything, including when people confuse generosity with servitude. Their eyebrows moved like birds. I turned to the guests behind them and said it again in French. Then in Italian. No drama, just sound. The room hiccuped. The DJ lowered the volume like the music was guilty. My mother's jaw set in that tight, churchy line that means don't you dare. I didn't dare. I lifted a tray, handed out cupcakes, and let the moment settle into me like a small stone in a pocket. An hour later, after photos where I was a shadow holding the ring light and not a brother, I stepped outside to the covered entryway. The air was cool. Concrete smelled like rain that didn't come. My phone buzzed with a pending charge for $410 labeled extras. I scrolled to the venue contact. I watched the green call button glow. I made one call and said four words. Close the open bar. I didn't shout. I didn't explain. I just walked back inside, and for once the floor didn't tilt under me. It didn't start with insults. It started with we. We're short this month. We're figuring it out. We'll pay you back. We is warm in my family until the bill arrives. Then the pronouns get specific. When I was 19, my dad's truck needed tires. He sighed at the kitchen table, the paper bill in front of him like a wounded bird. Cuánto tienes ahorrado, Nico? I had $340. We'll fix it together, he said. Put the deposit on your card. Together turned into never. Months later, when I asked about repayment, my mother said, I, no sees conador. Don't be an accountant. A joke that wasn't a joke. In college, I commuted. Camila got a dorm because she needed the experience. I woke up at 5 a.m., took 2 buses, worked the library desk, and tutored intro Spanish at night for $12 an hour. Camila joined a sorority, posted photos captioned, family over everything, and texted me, can you please, twice a month. When her rent was late senior year, I wired $600. She sent a voice note with a kiss sound and, you're the best. I told myself love is practical. I also told myself a lot of lies. The tiny humiliations wore everyday clothes. Say it in your fancy French. My uncle would say when I tried to explain a parking ticket. Use your Italian for the valet. Dad would say, meaning, do the talking so we don't tip. Mom would ask me to translate an entire dental plan phone tree, then roll her eyes when I asked her to write down the policy number. You're so dramatic, she'd say. Just talk. I like talking. I like it more when people listen. My logistics job exists because I speak 3 languages and show up on time. I call drivers in Spanish, email clients in English, troubleshoot a warehouse mishap in Brescia without Google Translate. At night, I teach basics to beginners because it steadies me. My students say merci like it's candy. They never make fun of my voice. Family needs grew like ivy, quick and everywhere. Mom's dental crown. For $180 just for today because the clinic won't take checks. Dad's cable bill by accident. Camila's deposit for an apartment she left after 3 months. You know how landlords are. When I paused, Mom would sigh. You always make it about money. When I gave in, she'd call me Nico, like the word meant thank you. Then Camila got pregnant. The announcement was a boomerang of confetti and a tiny shoe. The caption said, our rainbow. I wrote, congrats, with 3 blue hearts in the group chat. Mom called right away, breathless. We want to do something special for the shower, she said. Not cheap. She deserves it. Deserves is a dangerous word in our house. It arrives with a shopping list. What's the budget? I asked. Well, she said, the venue is $1, $800, but that includes chairs. I laughed. Chairs are traditional. You talk to them, she said. You're good with details. She added, we'll all chip in. The way someone says, we're all going to the gym this year. I compared packages. The standard room was fine. Camila picked the bigger one. The basic balloon arch was fine. Camila picked Moonscape. The playlist could have been a Bluetooth speaker. Camila wanted a DJ who would host the games. The mocktail station was cute. Camila added a dessert cart because she saw one on TikTok. I made a spreadsheet because that's my love language. Columns for vendor, due date, balance. I put my name next to payments because vendors need one person who answers email. I sent it to the family chat. Mom heart reacted and wrote, love you. Dad wrote, looks good. Camila wrote, can the napkins be baby blue, not dusty blue? Dusty blue is sad. The week before, the asks multiplied. We need more chairs, my friends invited friends. At a candy bar? Can we get the photographer for 2 hours instead of 1? My nose softened into let me see. Let me see softened into my card number. 3 nights before the event. Camila texted, can you cover the nursery rug now? We'll settle later. It's on sale. She sent a link. $379. I typed, I already covered the shower. She replied, it's all for the baby. Same thing. For the baby is a skeleton key in our house. It opens every door. I didn't turn it. Not the same, I wrote. A minute later, Mom called. Just this one thing, she said. You know your sister. She gets stressed. You're strong. Being strong doesn't mean being a sponsor, I said. She sighed. You always make it about money. Then, cheerfully, the DJ needs the deposit tonight. I tucked one small boundary into the venue contract. The final balance would require a text authorization. No auto charge. It felt like taping a note to my future self. You can still say no. I hoped I wouldn't need it. Hope is cheap. Parties are not. On the day, I translated for the caterer, Spanish, fixed the DJ's invoice typo, English, and told building security our guests had wristbands, Italian. He was an older man who smiled when I switched. I carried boxes, handed out pins for the advice to the mom-to-be, and put extra tape under the photo backdrop because balloons are dramatic. For a moment I thought, maybe this is fine. Then Camila made her joke, and something in me stood up. It didn't shout. It just stopped kneeling. People ask why I didn't confront her right there. I did, quietly. People ask why I keep paying if it hurts. Because every no in my family is a fire alarm. If I say, I can't, they hear, I won't. If I say, not this, they hear, not ever. If I say, please respect me, they hear a foreign language and refuse to learn. I am a translator. I should have been able to translate my own limits. Instead, I scheduled and funded and smiled like a stagehand. That day, outside under the awning, I pressed a new word into my mouth and held it there. Enough. The big scene wasn't a scream. It was a sentence. We were mid-games when the DJ said, let's hear from Big Brother. Camila clapped, bright. Nico, say something nice. But keep it short. You talk like a podcast. I walked up. I didn't take the mic. I stood by the cake so I couldn't pace. I'm happy for my niece, I said. I hope she grows up loved, safe, and taught that kindness isn't a debit card. A few guests laughed like I'd told a clever joke. Camila's smile tightened. What? She said, still cheerful for the room. In Spanish, I said, and repeated it. Then in French. Then in Italian. The DJ lowered the music. Napkins paused midair. It was a joke, Camila whispered through her teeth. You're sensitive. I'm fluent, I said. In 3 languages, and in yours. My mother stepped forward. Nicholas, she warned. Not now. Now, I said softly. Because the bill is now. The venue manager stood near the back, checking the time. I raised a hand. He came over, professional smile. Everything all right? Yes, I said. One change. I showed him the pending text. Close the open bar. For words. He nodded. We'll switch to soda and water included in your package. He left like a ghost in good shoes. Camila blinked like she'd swallowed a bee. You're kidding, she said, loud enough for 2 tables. You're going to embarrass me? I'm going to stop paying to be insulted, I said. My voice didn't rise. That made her angrier. Dad tried authority. This is family business. We'll talk at home. Home is where this started, I said. Here is where it ends. After everything I've done for you. Camila began. You asked, I said. I said yes. Today I'm saying no. Why now, she snapped. Because you bet I wouldn't understand you, I said. And because even if I didn't, the joke would still land. Mom reached for my arm. For the baby, she pleaded. For the baby, I said. I'm learning boundaries. Camila's eyes filled. So this is revenge. I let the words sit. I will love my niece. I will not be your wallet. You're cheap, she spit. Look at your shirt. Maybe, I said. But I can finally afford my dignity. The manager returned. Done, he said quietly. We also removed the dessert card ad on pending authorization. Camila made a sound between a laugh and a scream. I told you to add that. You told me, I said. I didn't approve it. The room wanted a reset. I gave it one. Let's have cake, I said into the mic. People clapped too eagerly. We sang. We cut. Camila smiled with her teeth. Mom posed us like dolls and cropped me out later. I handed out slices with steady hands and felt the ground under me for the first time in years. When it ended, relatives hugged the mom-to-be and slipped out. Dad said nothing. Mom's mouth was a line. Camila brushed past me and whispered, You're dead to me. I stacked plates, tipped staff in cash I'd set aside, thanked the manager, and walked out under the awning where the air smelled like rain again. My phone was heavy. My chest wasn't. That night my phone exploded. 14 missed calls from Mom, 6 from Dad, 22 from Camila, and a chorus of cousin paragraphs that began with not taking sides, but. The group chat read like a courtroom drama. I put my phone face down and ate leftover pasta. The bakery downstairs closed at 10. Warm sugar drifted up the stairwell and then was gone. Silence arrived like a visitor I didn't know I'd been waiting for. At 8 a.m., Mom texted, You made your sister cry. You embarrassed your father. You ruined a beautiful day. We have always done our best for you. How could you? Then apologize. Immediately. Then, we will talk tomorrow at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, I was on a call with a driver stuck near Houston. At 10 o'clock, I walked around the block and watched pigeons argue like tiny lawyers. My phone buzzed. Camila, you owe me $410 for the extras you canceled. I typed, no. She sent a 3-minute voice note I didn't play. Later, if you don't pay, you won't meet my daughter. As if my niece were a theme park and she worked the gate. 2 days later, Mom called from a new number. I answered, thinking it was my dentist. You broke your sister's heart, she said, skipping hello. All for money. All for respect, I said. We gave you everything, she said, and named food, clothes, school like receipts. Now you count pennies? I count boundaries, I said. Just apologize, she said. We told people you were stressed. We'll say you didn't mean it. I meant it, I said. For 6 years. Dad texted later. Be a man. Handle this. I typed, I did. He sent a photo of the empty dessert cart space, as if absence proved my crime. I didn't answer. By day 3, Camila posted, family can be the cruelest. Then a bump photo with a song about angels. Relatives DM'd me. It's not worth losing your sister. Money comes and goes. You should have just taken the joke. I read that last one twice. It made me laugh in the wrong place. I opened my budgeting app. I tagged the shower, gift, final. I deleted the category called Family Emergencies, a folder I'd secretly labeled recurring. I set a rule. No transfers to family without a plan I can afford to treat as a gift. A small line. A different life. New habits grew. Phone on Do Not Disturb at 9 p.m. Sundays for quiet. Lessons planned in a neat stack. My students thanked me without asking for my card. The retired nurse in Toronto said, you explain things simply. The baker in Dallas sent a photo of macarons that looked like planets. The college kid flirted poorly in Spanish and improved anyway. A week after the shower, Camila called from Dad's phone. You made me look stupid, she said. Everyone was talking. I didn't put your joke on a mic, I said. You know I didn't mean it, she said. It was humor. At my expense, I said. With my card. So what? Her voice sharpened. You think you're a hero because you know words? You're nothing without us. That might be true, I said. But I'm less without me. What does that even mean? It means I won't pay to stay the punchline. She called me dramatic, selfish, cruel. She hung up. 10 minutes later. When the baby is born, don't come. An hour later. Fine, you can come if you apologize. That night, a registry link with We Need a Crib. If you want to help, now is the time. The crib was $649. I typed, no. I put my phone face down like a lid on a pot. Mom tried nostalgia. She sent a photo of child me pushing child Camila on a swing. You loved her then, she wrote. Love her now. I stared at our faces, small and happy. I do love her. It would be easier if she were a cartoon villain. She is a person who learned I was safe to lean on until I bent. I used to think love meant bending without counting. Now I think love means bending and also knowing when to sit down. Silence came again. But in our family, silence is never peace. It's planning. Thursday night, Dad called. Family meeting Sunday, he said. I won't be there, I said. Don't be ridiculous, he said. You live 15 minutes away. For my time, I set the agenda, I said. He exhaled like a tire losing air. We'll remember this. I hope so, I said. On Sunday, I went to the library. I sat in a sun patch and read a mystery where the bad guy wasn't my guilt. My phone collected 11 missed calls and a flurry of messages about a vote on my apology. I didn't know they could vote on my mouth. My aunt wrote, if he wants to be difficult. Mom wrote, we'll give him time. Camila wrote, he'll crawl back. I closed the thread and checked out another book. Work felt lighter. Maybe I just stopped dragging a sack labeled family across every task. I ate breakfast sitting down. I watched a movie without pausing to fight. I heard my own thoughts without their echo. A month later, my niece was born. I learned from a photo in the group chat. A tiny pink face, a hat with a bow. Welcome, Valentina, the caption said. No call. No direct text. I stared until my eyes hurt, then typed, congrats. I hope you're both healthy. She read it. She didn't reply. 2 days later, Mom, we'll allow you to meet the baby when you're ready to apologize. Allow. Like a permit. I wrote back. I'll meet her when you can speak to me with respect. No apologies will be traded for basic decency. Dad followed with family is everything. I typed, family is not a license. I started therapy. The first time, the counselor asked, What do you want? Not what I wanted them to do. What I wanted to do. I stared at the ceiling. I want quiet, I said. I want to pick a onesie and put it in a drawer and wait until I can hand it over without also handing over my spine. She smiled. Then do that. I bought a small cotton onesie with little moons. I put it in my sock drawer. I wrote a card to a baby who can't read. From Uncle Nico. I'll see you when the adults grow up. It felt dramatic and true. I kept it. Camila posted the registry again. I scrolled. I closed it. I cooked rice and beans and a fried egg and ate by the open window. The night air was kind. The bakery downstairs started early. Sugar drifted up and didn't ask me for anything. My routine became mine. Mondays, work, 2 lessons, laundry. Tuesdays, walk after dinner, 20 minutes of Italian news. Wednesdays, therapy. Thursdays, call with my friend Rena, who asks, "What did you do for you this week?" Fridays, a movie. Saturdays, sleep. Sundays, library, meal prep, silence. They still texted sometimes. Baptism meeting tonight. Bring paper towels if you come. Your cousin needs help moving. I didn't go. I didn't carry. My heart still kicked like a rabbit each time, then calmed. It kept calming sooner. The best sign of change wasn't a speech. It was pouring coffee one morning and hearing myself say, out loud, "You can be kind and also done." 2 months after Valentina's birth, Camila texted at 11:42 p.m., "Pediatrician tomorrow." I'm scared. For one blue-lit minute, I was just her brother. Then, "Can you send $200 for co-pay and gas?" The spell broke. I typed, "I hope everything goes well. I can't send money. I can call and help you ask questions in Spanish if you want." 3 dots. Nothing. Then, forget it. I didn't forget. I lay awake and did not invent disasters, which counts as growth. In the morning, how did it go? Hours later, fine. Then, I don't need your charity. I didn't reply. I didn't know the fight. A week later, Mom called. Baptism is next month, she said. Your godfather. You will pay for the luncheon. It's tradition. It's your tradition, I said. Mine is new. What does that mean? It means I'll come if I'm invited with respect. I'll bring a gift. I won't pay. I won't be your errand boy. You're impossible, she said. Cold. I'm warm to the right people, I said. I'm done funding disrespect. I went to the baptism. I stood in the back. I held Valentina for 20 seconds while Camila fixed a ribbon. I didn't pose for their photos. I took one picture for myself, a blur of a sleepy baby and a white sleeve. At the luncheon, I paid for my meal, hugged one cousin who said, "Proud of you, man," in a small voice, and left early. The sky wasn't impressed. It was just blue. The bakery downstairs still smelled like sugar. They didn't deliver a grand apology. They delivered space. Space to breathe, to think, to name what I want. I want to love my niece. I want to see her without paying admission. I want to be the uncle who sits on the floor and listens. I can wait. If you're looking for a lesson, it fits on my fridge under a magnet shaped like a moon. I won't pay to be disrespected. That's it. That's the line. It took me years to write. It fits in one breath. This wasn't revenge. This was closure. I didn't burn bridges. I put tolls on them. The toll is simple. Speak to me with respect or cross somewhere else. My name is Nico. I'm 28. I used to be the background. I'm not anymore. I'm the person who paid $3,700 for a baby shower and finally decided the only debt I'll carry is to the part of me that kept whispering, "Hey, you deserve better." I hear him clearly now, and I answer,